Well, here we are in Arizona. For those who inspired me to come back out here and start this up again, that'd be Nate and Will Survive 2.0 and a few others. And the ones with words of inspiration like Fireforge Monkey and Tank Tolman and of course Quincy's Tavern. I am out here doing my own thing again. As you see, I got a fairly large piece of property out here. What you hear is me and the dog. Of course, you know, she doesn't like standing still. Hecate. And yeah, I do not let her run loose out here. You can't. Since I was here last, I've introduced Mexican wolves out this way, and saw a full lot of coyotes out here. And I've ran into a couple big scats from, my guess is a good-sized friggin' mountain lion or cougar or whatever else you wish to call it. A lot of people out here shoot first, ask questions later, and don't feel like having my dog shot. So normally she's on a leash with me or up by our trailer, and I'm only able to sit here and post and do things for a certain amount of time every week, as I'm running a gas generator to begin with until I can get solar hooked up or find the right solar out here. And quarters are really cramped in a little small trailer with us. I'm not lucky like some of the other people you've saw here doing the survival or off-grid or homestead. I didn't have a big construction company or contractor before doing this. As you see, my property pretty much goes to that wall, cliff, whatever you like to call it back there. And most of that back there is basalt. Up top is basalt. It used to be a very volcanic area here in Arizona. Unlike most of my neighbors, I'm also down low. I made sure of this when I purchased the land. I don't have to turn around and worry about 400, 500, 1,600 feet for a well. Water's a lot closer than that for me. Like I said, no idea how often I should be posting these videos. So for right now, might only be once a week. And when I have gas in the generator and have it up and running, might be running some Dungeons and Dragons tournaments off computer here. So if I do that, then that'll pay for some of the gas. And might post more videos more often. Also depends on you guys, what you want to see. This is pretty much raw land here that we'll be turning into a few different things with a lot of luck. I don't know how much of it will get done before winter. You see there's a lot of down juniper like that. So we gathering firewood here. Yes, we do have poisonous snakes out here. Got to watch the dog with cactuses. They're a little bit new to her. And no, she's not panting because she needs water. She's all excited because she has all this extra space to run around in, play with, and what forth. And even though she's a husky, she seems to be really enjoying the weather. She acts more like a puppy now than she has in the last little while. Hey. For the few of you that come to my channel, check out what's going on and etc. There's a couple of you that have actually been out here before, way back in the day when I first got this. So you know I'm not showing its entirety. There's a few different reasons on that. There's been a lot of stuff that's happened out here since the last time I lived out here. And this time around I don't have my children with me. They're still with my mom over, or with their mom I should say, over in Montana. That was of their choosing. They feel like Dad not being around, that someone has to be there to help take care of her. And yes, for those that know, we've been separated for an awful long time, but that's still a big thing and they know it. And them and other people have already turned around and ran into the problem. Because, oh, I'm not there to turn around and just run and take care of their problems anymore. Yes, the dog Hecate's been really enjoying this so far. And she loves all the exploring and that. Gotta watch her though with rabbits, and she figures that's something that she can go and chase, and she has a hard time with, oh damn, that was sharp, I just stepped on. She doesn't watch for cactuses. And I don't know if Nate shows it or any of the other ones show it. Out here, just about everyone carries a pew-pew on them. There are reasons on why. Look up the area, maybe you'll find out why. It's not for me to say so. And no, that's not all mine in that direction there. There's a big chunk of state land just beside me. That stuff in the back there is BLM. As I start certain projects, you guys will I'll figure out how I'm going to be filming them here. I do have a tripod. We'll see what happens. Most of this will be raw footage. I'm not going to be doing a whole bunch of editing and changing things around and whatnot. It is what it is. Some of you actually need to see what it's actually like to be completely off grid. And as you can imagine, this is Arizona, so this is not the ideal off grid. Running water is not a thing. As you can tell from the skyline and a bunch of other things, power is not a thing out here. Yeah, I know you guys all know another guy that does the off-grid stuff or whatever else here in Arizona. He got lucky and there's power there. And again, he was another contractor and has all these tools and whatever else and blah, 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 blah. That ain't the case here. For the majority of you that turn around and want to live off-grid, thinking like, hey, you know, if only I had an acre and blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? Now you're going to see what it's really like, because it ain't the way you think it is. A few of you might turn around and is like, well, how do you know so much, or know this or know that? Well, I am an outdoorsman. I do hunt, I do fish, and lived on farms and that most of my life. So some of this is second nature to me. Some of it's learn as you go. Just as it should be in almost all areas. And yeah, you just probably saw one of my pew-pews there. Said you don't go far around here without one, or two, or more. There has been problems out in these areas. So for today, this is about all I'm going to end up posting. I said I'm working on a few things. My posts will start coming more regularly. You'll start seeing improvements as we go. You might see some of the wildlife. It's usually first thing in the morning you see a lot more of it, or later in the evening than it is even now. I can grab the camcorder, as long as everything got packed properly, but you know how that goes. I believe I have lighting and everything for shooting at night. So maybe I'll be able to show you some of the elk that cut across the place in the middle of the night, or in other places. There are many, many other homesteaders out this direction. Most of them are closer to town, way closer to town than I am. Some of them were very surprised when they found out how far out I am. It's literally just off in that direction, and probably looking right over the top of it right now is the state line for New Mexico. This should give you guys pretty much a good idea of what I'm working with. And some of the other people that have came out here giving me a hand in the last week or so, because I've only been back for about a week now. Really surprised about all the different types of rock and agate and etc. that I have all over my place. Petrified wood. So as I start posting more, you'll see some of this more close up. As I start teaching the dog not to turn around and mess with friggin' cactuses. There's 3 or 4 different variety of cactuses that you'll be able to see probably on the place here as I run into them. Most of all the trees that you see in this area, and I do say this area, is going to be juniper or red cedar, whichever way you like to say it. Some of them are very young, like these small ones here. Some of them have been here for a while. Know enough about junipers. They have to mature for a certain amount of years before they start getting their berries on them. There's more than enough of them out here that have berries on them. And some of you are going like, hey, look, you have a lot of dead ones there. You got easy firewood. Wrong. It's actually way easier to cut the green ones than it is any of these dead ones. High wind area in this area. And the juniper here, once it gets old or starts dying off, that stuff's like friggin' stone. You want a dull chainsaw up really, really quick, just cut some of that stuff. On the other hand, you can turn around and cut that green stuff half the day and not have to worry about it so much. So for now, y'all have a good evening. The dog and I are going to turn around and get a campfire going. Cook a little bit of dinner. Settle in for the night. So this is a shifting bard and Hecate. Heck. Yeah. She says this is so much better than city life. Campfires at night, soak up the sun, forget having a tiny yard to run in. She has acres to run on now. See if I can see it here. Kind of give you an idea. That there is a piece of petrified wood, and with all the other rock, and there's a lot of it. So you all have a good night. We'll catch you later, and remember, if you want to see a lot more and learn more about this area and what it's like being off-grid in Arizona, just turn around and hit that like and subscribe button and maybe that little bell so you get notification every time I post. Until then, y'all have a good night. We'll talk to you all later.